This is an unabridged transcription recording of the speech delivered by LeRoi Jones, the playwright and poet from Newark, New Jersey, and which was delivered on the evening of February 23, 1968 at the University of Cincinnati, Ohio. It was presented in Wilson Auditorium by the United Black Association and was delivered to an audience of approximately 1,400 persons, of whom approximately 50 were white, and a majority of whom were not students at the university. The United Black Association received formal approval from the University of Cincinnati as an official student organization several weeks before this appearance of LeRoi Jones. The opening remarks are those of Assistant Dean of Men Roland Temple, who is also faculty advisor to the United Black Association. The second voice which you will hear is that of Thomas Porter, who is chairman of the Cincinnati chapter of the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, and whose business is the ownership and operation of the Black Arts Studio, which was in business at that time, and who served as host to Rap Brown in 1967 at a similar meeting. The language usage of the black nationalist movement in the United States is such that a colored man who accepts the white system is described as a Negro, and a colored man who does not accept the system is described as a black man. This distinction of terms is useful in listening to the following recording. It is proper to refer to this recording as being in the files of the U.S. Senate Internal Security Subcommittee and in the possession of various federal investigating and security agencies, including the House Committee on Un-American Activities and the Riot Investigating Committee headed by Senator John McClellan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that the United Black Association, in cooperation with the University of Cincinnati, presents a program we trust will be intellectually stimulating. A university is founded upon the supposition that the pursuit of knowledge is a prerequisite for wisdom. That is, there is no wisdom in ignorance. We know, too, that knowledge might not appear in a form which is palatable to all, but because it is knowledge, one's educational experience would be incomplete without the exposure to consenting and dissenting ideas and concepts. And it is with this premise in mind that the United Black Association presents the program this weekend. The black people of this country, yes, the black people of the world, have been exploited, they've been prostituted, suppressed to such an extent that history may well judge the Western institution of slavery and racial suppression as the greatest evil and injustice of man. And only today do we begin to really challenge the meaning of this institution. We know today that laws may be changed, we know that policy statements may be rewritten, yet we also know today that laws have not begun to affect the lives of the majority of black people in American society. The United Black Association was begun because black students have not been able to take full advantage of the facilities of this great institution. We know, too, that black students have much to learn, but we also know that the university has a responsibility to assume the initiative in aiding black students to realize their full academic and social potential. Thus, the United Black Association is and will study the present practices of this university and seek changes where change is needed. In addition, the UBA, and I shall take this opportunity to quote from the first newsletter that was only published a few weeks ago, published by the United Black Association. And I quote directly from their first newsletter. It says, "For too long, historians and academicians either neglected by accident or design to note the contributions and achievement of black people in the United States. Historians would have us to believe that nothing noteworthy has been contributed by the black people since the arrival of blacks in this country in 1619. And there have been few black historians able or willing to set the record straight. In fact, I might say parenthetically here that Arnold Toynbee, considered one of the world's great Western historians, has said in his great work called A Study of History, that the black man has contributed nothing to civilization to date. And this was said by a great historian just a few years ago. However, with the advent of men like John Hope Franklin, E. Franklin Frazier, and W. Du Bois, and Dr. Kenneth Clark, and men like Dr. Edgar Toppin, and others, the social, economic, and political situation was lifted out of the archives of bigotry, hatred, discrimination, and oppression, and properly placed in the annals of history. Black students began to demand courses in Negro history in the grade schools, in the high schools, and institutions of higher education. And it became self-evident that black people have been whitewashed and taught only to see the white man's historical viewpoint. Thus, history did not record the struggles and the suffering of the cotton picker, the black inventors, and so forth. And it is to this situation of the image of black people in history that the UBA would concern itself during Negro History Week, end quote. That was a quote from the first publication of the United Black Association. Rather than a historical summary today, the UBA sought a contemporary analysis of the problems faced by black people because of their history. The voice we hear tonight does not necessarily represent the views of UBA or the university, but the speaker does represent a view expressed and shared by a segment of the black community. And thus, he presents a perspective which should be heard. And we think he presents a perspective which should be heard with respect. At this time, I would like to introduce the gentleman who will introduce our speaker for tonight, Mr. Thomas Porter.
Mr. Jones has to catch an early flight, so I won't, talk very long. I'm not going to go through all of that bit about Mr. Jones's credentials in terms of, what schools he went to, mainly because he's here and, as black people, we know that he's alive, and so we don't have to go through all of that. Mr. Jones is the author of some very beautiful black books, Blues People, Home, Tales, Preface to the Obie Award, which is an off-Broadway thing that they give, The Dutchman and the Slave. But I think the most beautiful thing about Mr. Jones is what some hunky judge said about Mr. Jones about a month ago, when he said that Mr. Jones possesses a diabolical prescription for arson and murder. And we black militants, we want that. And and of course, if any white man is going to say that about a black man, then we know that black man is somebody that we ought to, put way up there. Because if he's got that type of thing going, he's really, our type of cat. The other thing that Mr. Jones did that was very, very beautiful, was when he was faced with an all-white jury, in this, like hunky court, he turned and walked out and said that, you're not a jury of my peers, that you are my oppressors. And with that, I'm going to let, this diabolical, cat, affectionately known as that little LeRoi cat to us, just lay it on you. Alafia, Abarigani, Assalamu alaikum. I'll give you all the black greetings that I could think of right quick. Yoruba and Swahili and Arabic. So we begin to know that we're getting back to another reality in which we are strong, which we are masters of our own resources, which is what it's all about. Taking care of our own business by ourselves. I want to say a couple of things before I read, and we don't have much time, so I have to say it as fast. maybe we can come back again another time, and I can bring all of the Spirit House Movers, which is the group, the black arts group that I work with. And maybe we can come back through Cincinnati and do some black plays and some black art for you, so you can see what we're really talking about. But I'm going to run down some things very quickly. Unity, what we mean by that. A lot of times that sounds corny because a lot of people use it without apparent success, that word unity. What we mean by unity is that each black man has to put his talent, all his resources on the altar of blackness, that we are in an emergency situation, that we are slaves to unrighteous beings, and that if we want to emerge from that, we have to utilize all of our energies, all our resources, all our talents. We have doctors, lawyers, philosophers, artists, machine gunners, wrestlers. We have all these things, you understand? We need all these things going for us, for black people, to get out of the thing we are in. It's a simple question. We are slaves like the man says we are. We are niggers like the man says we are, unless we want to do something else. And to do something else, we have to come together. We've not even reached the point where we can define our goals alone before we come out with what we are. See, I'm sitting here talking to a whole group of our sworn enemies, enemies by nature. They might even consciously tell you something else, but by nature is stronger than any kind of intellectualism. And they are enemies by nature. So understand, before you can get your thing together, you have to come together by yourself and decide what you're going to do. If you want this one to be a Tom, let him be a Tom. If you want this one to be a militant, let him be a militant. If you want this one to be a knife thrower, you let him be a knife thrower. But you have to decide together, behind closed doors, what the serious business is going to be, and then you take care of that business. You never tell these crackers really what you want to do. You talk to each other about that, you know. And that's what we mean by unity, that each black man does for a black man. You know, there was even a brother back there in France, called Dumas, who said all for one and one for all. They don't tell you that. The Three Musketeers and the Count of Monte Cristo brother wrote those, you know. He said all for one, one for all. You know, that might have sounded corny when you saw Gene Kelly swinging a sword. But that's where it is, you know what I mean? And it has to be that way today. Again, unity. Unite behind blackness. Solve our problems among ourselves, you see. If we get together, we don't need white policemen walking up in our neighborhoods. These organizations, you be the police. You be the judge, the law, and the order. You decide what's good and what's bad, what's beautiful and what's ugly. That's the way people do. That's the way people with a nation do. Understand? We talk about nationalism, not separatists. We're not separatists. We're nationalists. You understand? Separatist implies a connection or a would-be connection with the white man. Understand? Most of the people on this planet are nationalists. They believe in their nation. We don't have a nation. We are so backward that the man even has us thinking there's something wrong with having our own nation. So that if somebody says we want a nation, we want to be a people, they say you're a radical. That's how backward and brainwashed we are, brothers. That we can't even conceive of the idea of a black nation, but you came out of a black nation. The thing that you did that humbled you before these beasts, you are still working out. You understand? Like Allah put some weight on you so that you could solve it and become a stronger people, and the weight is these crackers. Now you have to learn to deal with that. And when you learn how to deal with that, then you will be a strong people again. But you have to deal with that, and no amount of talking or fidgeting or lying to yourself will get them off your back. The only thing will get them off your back is what you need to do. You understand? If that's fire, you use fire. If it's lie, you use lie. If it's a knife, you use knife. If it's a poem, you use a poem. I can't tell you what we have to do to get this cracker off us. You understand? Because it'll be a multiplicity of things. You understand? We haven't got it together what we have to do, because it'll be a lot of things. And everybody can help. The women can help. The little children can help. Use the Viet Cong as your example. You see, that's a little country. They're not even as strong as we are. We are in this man's belly. We have access to everything a white man has. If he wants to run out a brand new tank, we have a play that begins with this tank running up a New Jersey, Newark Street. You understand? And all the brothers start hiding and jumping down behind buildings because this tank is coming up the street. And all of a sudden the top of the tank pops out and the brothers say, "What's happening? What's happening?" You understand? In other words, anything that they got conceive of or come out here in the street with, we will have. Whether it's a brand new pistol, we will have it. Or some gas, we will have that. Anything they got, we'll take away from them. You understand that? We know that. See, so don't despair about that. What we have to despair about is getting our spirit together, using our electricity to light our own light bulbs. You understand? For too long, the cracker has been utilizing our electricity to light up his bulbs and to run his engines. It's time we got together our own electricity, like James Brown says. Everything I own, everything I do, I own. You understand? Everything I am, I control. And that's what we have to do. Control your own resources. You understand? Whether you're an artist or a doctor or anything, you have to control it. It has to be brought to the altar of blackness. In the rebellions, there were brothers walking around shot. Where do we have to go? Where did brother have to go who was shot? You know, in those rebellions. Here in Cincinnati, Newark, Detroit, Watts, where did they have to go? They had to go to the devil. They had to go to their enemy to get medical care. What is that? You know, is that warfare? That's not warfare. That is chump. That's chump action. When you do that, when you are not together, when you are so loosely put together, when you're so loose in what you're doing that you have to submit to your oppressor to get medical care, you are not ready. You're not ready. This brother here has a poem, wish we had time for him to read, called We Ain't Ready Yet, which is about that. How can you call yourself warriors when you are not put together to make a war? How can you make war on nobody and you don't even have no generals? You don't even have any weapons. How can you make war on anybody? You haven't even got any logistical setup, any plans. You know, where are your saboteurs? You understand? Where's your intelligence? If you're going to make war on somebody, you got to learn what war is and then make it properly. You understand? And don't just run out in the street stealing stuff. You understand? Do it for a reason, a purpose. So we're talking about nationalism, being a nation, controlling our space. We have space already. In all these cities, they've got what they call a ghetto. Malcolm says they call it a ghetto because you don't control it. See, they don't call Chinatown a ghetto, because the Chinese run that. You understand? You understand? But here, they call where you live a ghetto. You understand? Because the Jew controls it, the Italian controls it, the Anglo-Saxon controls it, but you don't control it. They talk about us as separatists, but the ghetto has always been separate. All the ghettos are separate in America. We live in separate places. We have always lived in separate places. Harlem is separate. The Central Ward of Newark, which is now all of Newark, is separate. You understand? But the point is, we must have control of this. We must benefit by this. There's nothing wrong with that. Be a nation. You understand? Submit to blackness, because the black man will be the judge, finally, of what's good and bad coming out of this century. You believe that. You cast your light with whiteys, you will die with white men. You understand? Your ideas will die with white men. The black man will judge this society. And the point is this, talking about war and peace, we will be the judges of what is good coming out of this century. Black men will judge. You understand? Because we have to bring the rule of peace and justice and beauty back to this planet. It does not exist now. No matter what a cracker might tell you, show me some peace. You don't know what peace is. You know, these hippies walk around talking about love. What kind of love? You ever heard of white love? Have you ever seen it exist anywhere on this planet? You understand? If you want to redefine these terms, they must be redefined by black men. That the only way manhood can have any meaning on this planet is must be reemerged. It must reemerge as a concept by black men, because we must do it. It's not intellectualism with us. We must have a new order. You understand? We must have change. We cry for change. We cannot live in this society the way it is. It is not intellectual, it is not liberalism, it is necessity. We must do it. We must do it. Our children will force us to do it. You understand? You young people now who are now calling your mother and father Tom, understand in a few years it'll be your turn. And if you haven't got it together, you have to submit to that turn. You understand? Because they will put it on you like I put it on my father. You understand? Like you put it on your father. Why did you let me be alive in this? All of our leaders are radical. Even the ones you know are paid by white people. You know, from Whitney Young to Rap Brown, all of our leaders. There's no black man that can call himself a leader. Even the ones put up by white men that cannot be a radical. Businessmen think Whitney Young is. White businessmen think Whitney Young is radical. You understand? This is the basis for our unity, our operational unity. That every black man calling himself a leader, from Whitney Young to Rap Brown, is a radical. He is advocating a change in the society, no matter what kind of change. Do you understand? Now, Whitney Young saying that we must have more black people in these jobs. Right. Do that, and you've changed America, but you can't do that. You can't do that. Whitney Young will never see that, perhaps, but you can't put more, but they don't have enough jobs for the white people. You understand? If all of our brothers were to come home from Vietnam, where they are protecting this cracker's flanks patriotically, you understand? If our brothers were to come home tomorrow, you understand, and were looking for work, like Whitney Young says, raise yourself through employment, get into the American system, they could not do it. The American system would explode. You understand? The same way with these crackers who are coming back, there's no work for them either, you see? So then when we come back after the war, then there's another war, the war in the street. And don't believe for 1 second that the white man does not know this and is not preparing for it. He believes it. He knows that his system is being threatened. You understand? He is preparing. He is buying these guns and stuff. Esquire magazine has something coming out where they'll tell you, you know, and the terrible thing about a Negro is that he will believe any cracker quicker than he will his brother. So read Esquire magazine, they'll tell you. The white man, you know, the white man is preparing. He knows that you need to be free even if you don't know it. You understand? He knows that you need to kill him even if you don't know it. You understand? He knows that you'll never have freedom until he's dead. He knows that, and he's preparing right this minute to see that you don't get it. You understand? Also, we have to begin to move with the idea that each one of us constitutes an army, you know. Together we constitute an invincible army, you know. Invincible in the sense that each one of us wants to be an individual. Each one of us cannot submit to blackness. Each one of us is still hypnotized by the Donna Reed show or by Bill Cosby's exploits on television. We still are laboring in that Tonto, Lothar, Cato mentality, where we believe that the only place a black man has is as the loyal gun bearer for the cracker as he goes out and kills half of the world's people for his own little feeble-minded luxury. Well, this is where you are, you know. We all want peace. We all want peace. We are peaceful humanists. That is the black man. We are peaceful. We have things that we want to do. We do them anyway. The brothers walk down the street with their radios next to their ears, popping their fingers, man, even though they are slave and enslaved. They're thinking about something else. They're thinking about beautiful things, you understand? But there will not be peace until there is war. There must be war first. There got to be war first before there be peace. You understand? Unless the cracker will submit, you know, and the cracker will not submit. He will not submit to the Viet Cong, and the Viet Cong are in their country, you understand? Talking about getting themselves together without the white man there. They're talking about their country. Now, what is he going to do if you're talking about Cincinnati, which he claims is his, named after one of them Romans? What is he going to tell you? You understand? What is he going to tell you if you're talking about, I want to control the area in which I live? What? What's wrong with you? You understand what I'm saying? He will not submit to rationalism. He will talk to you about rationalism. He will talk to you about logic, but he will not submit to it because he is a cold creature who only submits to his own needs, bestial and animalistic though they may be. He only will submit to these needs. And you, brother, are at a different stage of evolution. You understand that? And you begin to explore what I'm talking about, evolution, that we have to go to the different levels. The different levels from the minerals, you understand, to the vegetables, and the vegetables to the animals, and the animals to the humans, and the humans up to the soul, and the soul to the spirit. You understand and investigate what I'm talking about because you're at another level. You're at another level. You are at the human stage, you understand. The man has put enough fire on you, Pharaoh, to make you rise to where you're a human being now. You understand? So now when you got white people walking around talking about the pyramids like there's something they created, and you walking around and don't even know where that came from. And the same thing you hear when you listen to James Brown is the same thing you see when you look at the Sphinx out there in the desert. It's black energy, you understand? And if you don't get that together and learn how to work with that, If you don't get that together and learn how to work with that, then you deserve to be the chattel of the most unrighteous being on this planet. And get that together. Who must you be if you are the slave of the most unrighteous creature on this planet? Who must you be? You know, what must you have done to be so debased, so separated from your own resources? Who must you be then? And what must you done to have deserved that? You understand? Like we deserve it, you know, and we will deserve it until we come out from under it. For every little niggerism that you pull, you continue are the rule of this man over us. You understand? For every little lie and little bullshit cop-out, and for every little backing away from reality that you're guilty of, black man, the white man rules that much longer over you. You understand? For every little dissembling and isolation from your black woman, the white man rules that much longer over you, because you cannot see yourself as strong and beautiful and move with that focus in your mind that you will be the master of your own energy. You understand what I mean? Like we say in Newark, we will rule Newark or Newark will not exist. You understand? This is a poem called Reality is Dealt With. Dealt with, reality is better to be with. Without dealing with reality, nothing is sure. Be sure to be in reality. Be sure your plans are reality. Is Joe Tex in a real world? Ask Joe Tex. Is Texas in a real world? Well, only partially. Reality, what is around, what abounds from all out the ground, what you bees around, the real, the answers, the cold walls and edges, faces and hands in the real world. Words in the real world are real words, names of things, names of actions, doings, ongoing realities. Nothing is worth nothing save in reality. I want a world, a beautiful reality, and everyone alive in it in love with beautiful reality. And reality, God, truth, whatever you dig to say about it, though you dig that saying deals not save in reality, through realities, don't get away from that reality, that we must all work to force reality into reality. A poem for half-white college students. Who are you listening to me? Who are you listening to me? Who are you listening to yourself? Are you white or black, or does that have anything to do with it? Can you pop your fingers to no music except those wild monkeys go on in your head? Can you jerk to no melody? Except finger poppers get it together when you turn from star checking to checking yourself. How do you sound? Your words, are they yours? The ghost you see in the mirror, is it really you? Can you swear you are not an imitation gray boy? Can you look right next to you in that chair and swear that the sister you have your hand on is not really so full of Elizabeth Taylor, Richard Burton is coming out of her ears? You may even have to be Richard with a white shirt and face, and 4 million Negroes think you cute. You may have to be Elizabeth Taylor, old lady, if you want to sit up in your crazy spot dreaming about dresses and the sway of certain porters' hips. Check yourself. Learn who it is speaking when you make some ultra-sophisticated point. Check yourself. When you find yourself gesturing like Steve McQueen, check it out. Ask in your black heart who it is you are, and is that image black or white? You might be surprised right out the window, whistling Dixie on the way in. Which is a little contemporary history and an old-timey history. Shrill writes, Alabama Jew selling crisscross sandwich. Brother was lost in the Allegheny looking for Jesus, and Jesus never exists no fucking way, not the way crackers say. Alabama Jew and his brother Sneaky derive doo-doo for donut and give slow nigga the same. Drive a yellow Volkswagen, jumped to give Adolf the dough to start that shit and killed all of them he could catch for fucking up Europe so many years. From Jump Street, selling revolution in the suburb on the counter with shells for switch and jump, he always had your lips greasy. Selling you hog, he had laws to prohibit people from eating. Dumb wops and dumb niggas going for the same shit all the time. But us, it's worse. He got our tunes, selling them with long hair for fags to turn on. Check it out. Jumpty and Adolf, an Alabama Jew with the same cardboard Murphy case, traveling around the world, selling all kinds of dumb shit to dumbass dudes like us. Mickey Mouse world, heaven won't eat you. Niggas for certain always will. Wig poem, number 1. Take off the wig, 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 take off the wig. The rest of that poem, parts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, all go the same. Kabah. A closed window looks down on a dirty courtyard, and black people call across or scream across or walk across, defying physics in the stream of their will. Our world is full of sound. Our world is more lovely than anyone's, though we suffer and kill each other and sometimes fail to walk the air. We are beautiful people with African imaginations, full of masks and dances and swelling chants with African eyes and noses and arms, though we sprawl in gray chains in a place full of winters when what we want is sun. We have been captured, brothers, and we labor to make our getaway into the ancient image, into a new correspondence with ourselves and our black family. We need magic. Now we need the spells to raise up, return, destroy, and create. What will be the sacred words? This is about us too. This is an image I had of us one day called Deranged Gut Bucket Pig Tongue Clapper Heart. Beats now from misshaped by the beating on the outside, misshaped and beat from outside, misshaped and beat by everything, which is God, Ra, everything. To keep from naming all the names there are, which is God, Obatala, Ra, Allah. To keep from using up all the no time and no space and space. To keep from that, say, God, Allah, everything, all things together. That beats the nigga. That beats him. Everything is magnetized to keep him locked to the ground. The pain of final evolution when we will change, some to gods, some to ashes, some through horror, some through ecstasy, boplution. Way outistically we will become what we are inside moving to be. Cracker, you may be wood, and fire is what you need to change your wooden ways. Nigga, you might be fire and need to burn some wood to live real bright and strong like you should. But maybe you would too, nigga. Slick butt, turned around, blonde twist on your ass. And here you are being wood instead of something good. Well, you get burned too. Or if you fire and won't burn wood, you might just burn yourself. Burn more fire. Just eat fire, eat fire, eat fire till you burn out, 'cause everything can burn fire out. Everything can beat fire. Everything can beat fire's ass, 'cause Allah be beaten, be beaten, 'cause Olaroon be beaten, he be beating your ass all the time, 'cause Obatala be beating your ass, be beaten, 'cause Allah, he be beating your ass all the time, burning you, Allah, he be beaten till you change. Word from the right wing. President Johnson is a mass murderer, and his mother was a mass murderer, and his wife is weird looking. And his wife is weird looking, a special breed of hawk-billed cracker. And his grandmother's weird, dumb, and dead, turning into red earth, sick as dry, blown soil. And he probably steals, hates magic, and has no use for change, though changing and changed. The weather plays its gambling tune. His mother's a dead blue cloud. He has Negroes work for him, hate him, wish him under the bullets of Kennedy death. Open fire from the school windows! These projectiles kill his mother, plagued by vulgar cancer, floating her dusty horoscope without the love even she thinks she needs. Dead bitch. Johnson's mother walked all night holding hands with a nigger and stroked that nigger's heart, blew him downtown Newark, 1928. I got proof. The dance of the toms. Here is the dance, tom dance. All the little toms all in a row. Here's Whitney Young with his head in a bag. Here's Bed Rusty switching like a fag. All the toms. All the toms, here they go. All the toms in a row. Hello, toms. Hello. Where you on your way? Hello, toms. Hello. We know how you get your pay. Tom is a sick thing. Tom is a dirt sucker, a resistor to goodness. Tom fly in metal. Tom mama is Tom mama and draws his backwards on a pole. Tom know God and hate him. Saying hello to white God for bucks. A vomit eater, a pansy, a duck, a sausage flake, a failure in the universe with God grading. Tom walk backwards all the time to provide evil or opening, a host like affair. If you go to movies, Tom will drop down to eat the peanut shell so great till he won't have to sweep sheet stuff. He's so cool. Tom, he look like television shadow, and some people not sure he actually exists, but he does. With cape and gun and strawberry hair. Tom, where you going? We gonna kill you very soon. We gonna break you funky neck, use your ass to start a warm fire for us. Now it's cold, your master's shitty breath make icicle on the world. We use your ass to heat stuff, maybe then we not have to stay in counting our children's grave, it be so freezing. Black people, what about that bad short you saw last week on Freeling Heights and Avenue? Or those stoves and refrigerators, record players, shotguns, mortars, and Sears, Bamberger's, Klein's, Haynes, Chase, and the smaller Jewish enterprises? What about that bad jewelry on Washington Street and those couple of shops on Springfield Avenue? You know how to get it? You can get it. No money down, no money never. Money don't grow on trees, no way, only whitey's got it, makes it with a machine to control you. You can't steal nothing from a white man, he already stole it. He owes you anything you want, even his life. All the stores will open if you will say the magic words. The magic words are up against the wall, motherfucker, this is a stick-up. Smash the window at night. These are magic actions. Smash the windows, daytime, anytime, together. Let's smash the window, drag the shit from in there. No money down, no time to pay. Just take what you want, the magic dance in the street. Run up and down Broad Street, niggas, take the shit you want. Take their lives if need be, but get what you want, what you need. Dance up and down the streets. Turn all the music up, run through the streets with music. Beautiful radios on Market Street. They are brought here especially for you. Our brothers are moving all over, smashing at jelly white faces. We must make our own world, man, our own world, and we cannot do this unless the white man is dead. Let's get together. Let's get together and kill him, my man. Let's get to gather the fruit of the sun. Let's make a world we want black children to grow and learn in. Do not let your children, when they grow up, look you in your face and curse you by pitying your Thomish ways. This is a poem we always end at Spirit House or in Newark. We always end the sessions in the evenings with this poem. It's called Who Will Survive America? Few Americans, very few Negroes, and no crackers at all. Who will survive America? Few Americans, very few Negroes, and no crackers at all. Will you survive America with your 20-cent habit, your faux-bag Jones? Will you survive in the heat and fire of actual change? I doubt it. Will you survive, woman? Or will your nylon wig catch a fire at midnight and light up Sterling Street? And your ass prints on the pavement, grease melting in this brother's eyes, his profile shot up by a Simba, thinking who was coming around the corner was really Tony Curtis and not a misguided brother, got his mind hanging out with Italians. Who will survive the black future? Will you can't, with the fat stomach between your ears, scraping nickels out the inside of nigger daydreams. Few Americans, very few Negroes, maybe no red Negroes at all. The stiff-backed chalk lady Baptist in blue lace, if she shrinks from blackness in front of the church, following the wedding of the yellow robots, will not survive. She is old anyway, and they're moving her church in the wind. Old people? No. Christians? No. First Negroes to be invisible to truth, 1944 Minnesota? No. Nothing of that will be anywhere. It will be burned clean. It might sink and steam up the sea. America might know Americans. Very few Negroes will get out and no crackers at all. But the black man will survive America. His survival will mean the death of America. Survive, black man. Survive, black man. Survive, black man. Black woman, too. Let us all survive. Let us all survive who need to. Okay, we wish most of you in here good luck. Thank you.